During the Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma rap beef, Nicki Minaj dropped a song called No Frauds. And there's a line in that song that's more important today than it ever was. Addressed for Remy Ma, Nicki Minaj would say, "What type of bum shoot a friend over a rack? What type of mother leave her son over a stack?" This was a diss at Remy Ma going to jail for almost a decade for shooting her friend because the friend allegedly stole $1,000 from her. Remy Ma was actually very outspoken against the narrative that Nicki Minaj was trying to paint, that she was a deadbeat mother who left her son over $1,000. Well, Remy Ma will respond back to this and claim like that's not true. Even $1,000 story isn't true. And she definitely wasn't absent from her son's life. As a matter of fact, she was actually actively involved in her son's life, and she spoiled him. She took good care of him. And they actually spent a lot of birthdays together.
When everything happened, where they were saying, "Oh, Remy's gonna go back to jail," like with the stupid dumbass story with the girl.
Oh, you know about that?
He called me going crazy. Like, I will go crazy on like he has a bad temper. I will go crazy on anybody. They're not gonna take you away from my sister like they did to me. Like he was like he has anger issues, and it's hard. It's hard. And then even when I got into the beef with old girl, and she was saying, whatever, who leaves their kid over money? Like first of all, like I was okay because I'm like I know what the situation is, but he's a kid, so if he goes to school and he gets into an argument with somebody, like it's times where he came home from school like, what happened? Oh, somebody said this, and this to me, and I whooped their. I'm like, yo, when I catch this first time, I had to really baby, that what our situation is, but kids, it's so hard when you're dealing with children because it's a whole nother person. And then he has a lot of me in him.
Remy Ma, the woman who went to jail for shooting her friend over $1,000, would admit that her son has severe anger issues, and he has the very same demons that she's been battling her entire life with anger. He has those demons in her as well. Now, here's the thing. Remy Ma felt guilty, right? She went to jail. She probably wasn't there, in a capacity that she wanted to be. So she probably let a lot of things slide, right? She probably let him get away with a lot, but the kid was out of control, right? As you can see, he was out of control. Calling your mom and letting her know, bro, like you finna go to war with the government. They, right? Being violent, beating kids up. The kid was out of control, but she sort of let that behavior slide because she felt guilty and felt like she was the cause for a lot of it. But it looks like, he's like Remy Ma in more ways than not. Because this kid who was out of control, the trust fund baby, who never got his feelings in check, finally did his big one. He was just arrested for murder.
And I'm Natasha Verma. 23-year-old Jason Scott has been arrested in connection to a murder in Queens that dates back to 2021. Investigators are looking into the possibility that it was a murder for hire.
All right, Fox 5's Teresa Priolo joins us live from a story where the victim lived. Teresa, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Steve and Natasha, residents I spoke to here, they didn't know the victim, but they do know who Remy Ma is, and they're telling us that they hope her celebrity doesn't play into this case. Tonight, we are learning that that victim was allegedly killed by Remy Ma's son, Jason Jace Scott. So here's what we know at this hour. 23-year-old Scott was arrested today on first-degree murder and weapons charges. It's unclear if he pulled the trigger or if he hired the hit that took the life of Darius Gilbo, who lived here at the Ravenswood houses in Astoria. The crime occurred nearby in broad daylight back in 2021. Gilbo took hits to the head and to the chest. Gilbo had an extensive criminal history. 8 months before he was killed, I'll tell you that a second man, a man by the name of Richard Swigert, was also arrested and charged with murder and weapons charges. Steve and Natasha, it's unclear what led to this, if there was any relationship between these guys before this murder happened. We can tell you that we are expecting Scott to be arraigned early next week.
Now, here's where things get interesting. The victim was Darius, aka D Block, who was a notorious kingpin in New York. He was well known and had ties to a lot of famous people.
I happened to go through the online news, the online daily news, and I went to the crime section of the New York City Daily News. And one of the first things that popped up was ex-con from Queens gunned down. So naturally, it's just, my nature to go on, because sometimes I like to talk about things with you guys that maybe I have just read. So when I seen it, I clicked on it. And, damn. So it was one of my boys, It's on 148th Street and Rockaway Boulevard. And my boy D-Block, a.k.a. Darius. He was gunned down. Supposedly 2 men ran up on him and took his life in broad daylight at 1 p.m. in Queens.
Right now, the police are confused in terms of a motive because trying to wrap your head around why would a kid who grew up in the household of Remy Ma and Papoose, who had access to wealth, had 2 celebrity parents, had a strong father figure like Papoose, why would this kid resort to committing a murder in broad daylight with another criminal? Right? It's literally shocking. And the police only possible narrative they've thrown out there is they believe that it was a murder for hire. But why would Remy Ma Son do a murder for hire as if he's broke? Well, the only way that would make sense is Remy Ma Son was the bag man, right? A family member of his or a close friend of his probably wanted D-Block gone. They gave him the bag, and he was tasked with finding somebody else to come with him to commit the drill. But why would anybody in Remy Ma Son's family or close friends, why would they want D-Block gone? Why? Well, a YouTuber by the name of King AK-47 has a theory. Now, according to him, he has uncovered that D-Block was actually the cousin of Big Zoo, aka Kenneth Petty, aka Nicki Minaj's husband, and he was like the muscle on the streets for Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty.
Apparently, D-Block, the OG drug kingpin that was killed by Remy Ma Son and another one of his affiliates in the murder for hire, is blood cousins to Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, man. Now, Nicki ain't making the rumors and speculation, which this is not rumor, this is New York law, but I'm a blogger, this is street rumors. She didn't make it no better because she decided to go on Twitter and say, call Webb. No, she said that on Instagram, call Webb. Webb is Queen's Flip's cousin. Webb is a big guy who can probably, you feel me? And she said, who up? Now, with people not understanding about when Nicki said who up, and I feel like this was absolutely stupid, is she said this at 9:30 at night, Eastern time. What do you mean, who up? So people in the comment section like, what type of question is that, Nicki? Of course we're up. We're wide awake and all that. And I'm like, Twitter's so lost because I don't think she quite meant who up. As in who up, not sleep, but who up, if you know what I mean.
King AK-47 is a pretty credible blogger. I haven't done my own investigation to find out if they're actually cousin or not, because it's not really available to the public, but he's credible. So he said it. If you want to believe it, believe it. If you don't believe it, bro. But he said that he has confirmed that Kenneth Petty is the cousin of D-Block. Now, here's the theory that's being thrown out there because it doesn't make sense. What's the true motivation for Remy Ma Son to pick up a pistol to go kill D-Block with somebody else? The only thing that could possibly make sense if this is murder for hire, Remy dropped the bag. Her son, who loves his mama more than anything, right, probably picked up the stick to go handle an issue involving his mama and D-Block. And he had the bag, or he was probably given the bag by Remy, and he went ahead and, paid somebody else to come along, and they did the drill. The only motivation I can see this kid going out and doing the drill, bro, is if his mama was disrespected or if he was riding for his mama. Now, the theory of Nicki Minaj subliminally putting out a hit on Twitter, telling the goons, who up, go ahead and slide. I'm not going to read too much into this, bro, but I do believe where there's smoke, there's fire, and I do believe there's something to this theory involving Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma. I don't know. I can't extend into it. I don't know, bro, but I feel like there's something here. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, all right? You got a trust fund baby who would have probably been a millionaire, right? You feel me? After he done inherit Remy Ma stuff. Now he about to spend the rest of his life in prison and trying to be a thug. This is just disgusting, man. But if you're still watching, click on this video somewhere on my screen to find out how this hood rat tried to humiliate this really sweaty, obese man during the Pop the Balloon dating show. Click on this video right here to find out how it backfired on her. I'm gonna see you guys in this video, all right? Out of here, folks. Peace.